The Bad King has come home. Before we get to today's video, I want to take a moment to talk about Patreon. That's right, we are on Patreon now, and we have a bunch of tiers with a bunch of great rewards. You can subscribe and get things like early access to all reactions, depending on your tier, depends on which reactions you get early access to. You can vote on polls exclusive to patrons that will help determine future reaction series and more. You will get to just have various choices in terms of like getting to choose future reactions I react to, getting to choose first impressions I check out, all kinds of different rewards, and possibly more coming in the future. We're still new at this. We're still figuring things out. It's a process. It's a process. But we have multiple tiers, so whatever you would be able to donate, if you're able and willing to donate, is appreciated. It helps me out, it helps the channel out, it helps us grow. It's going to help just, standardly. It's just something new to check out. Plus, if you like getting the reactions early, that's also a plus. But it is optional. If you're unable to do it, that's completely fine. All reactions will come to YouTube just a little bit later, a week later or so. So that all being said, thank you as always so much, and let's get on with today's video. And with that being said, hey everyone, welcome to Princess of Gay. I'm your host Connie, and today we are here with the final episode, Season 2, Episode 8 of One Piece live action. Final episode for now. I should specify it's the final episode of Season 2. Not the final episode altogether. We have Season 3 set to come out probably next year. I know that, filming is set to, conclude this summer and everything for that, so hopefully they'll get it out, early next year. But before we really get this going, you may notice that there is a pillow behind me. You can kind of see it right here. It is kind of bleached out a little bit by the light, but as of when I'm recording this, I'm still facing issues with my trapezius muscle. I've mentioned this in various other videos. I've been having some issues with that. I tore it something fierce. Worse than I usually do, I guess, but when I go to conventions. But yeah, it's at a point where I've been kind of wondering if maybe our new furniture with its lack of upper back support is exacerbating it, or at least not helping it heal super well. Because our old couches had a good amount of upper back and shoulder support. And so with this, with having this pillow back here, I'm able to have a little more support than I would otherwise. And I think this might actually be something that might be a good idea. I don't know. We're testing it out. So if you're wondering about that, that's the deal. I can lean back a little more now too, because I couldn't really do that before, due to the couch not going up far enough. Once my trapezius is healed, it should be fine. It's because it's not, and it's that part of the back is exactly the part that's not getting any support when I'm sitting on here. So yeah. But anyway, let's actually talk about what happened last time. So last episode was pretty much entirely dedicated to Chopper's backstory. We got Dr. Hiralik, played by Mark Herlick, which was amazing casting. And I mean it genuinely, because he did a fantastic job and really embodied the character in a great way. The backstory was mostly the same. It was pretty damn accurate to the manga and anime, with some slight changes in terms of the pacing of things, in terms of how things were ordered around and whatnot. But for the most part, it was pretty much exactly the same. And it was just as devastating. It made me cry. It made me break down. It really got to me. And so now we're going to be going into the return of Wapol to Drum Kingdom. Because we saw at the end of last episode, Dalton got shot with 3 arrows from Chess's bow and was confronted by Chess and Kuromarimo as they returned. The battle with Wapol has to happen. It's a big point here. Plus, with all the setup they've done over the past episodes with Wapol, like, we have to get to that, you know? Wapol is a character who in the manga and anime is, like, not only just despisable in terms of, like, generally by how he's written, the fans don't like him. Like, the fans actually see him as one of the worst villains, not just because of what he's done, but because of, like, they just find him to not be that good of a villain. And my view on it has always been, like, I feel like people are conflating the ideas of being a terrible person and being, like, intentionally pathetic with being poorly written. I actually think Wapol is exceptionally written. And it's because he's so pathetic, because he's so ridiculous, because he's not even good at being a villain. He's such a he's such a dumbass. He's so ridiculous and just doesn't even pretend to think things through. Not to mention he's not even really that strong. And that's part of what actually it makes him Wapol. It's the point. But people seem to think that all points him to being a bad villain just because of other villains we've gotten, either lately compared to this or just after, with Mr. Zero coming in Alabasta. So it's like people will automatically compare based on the villains that are positioned around him and not realize that this was the point. It's like with the Celestial Dragons. The Celestial Dragons, obviously this is from much further on in the series, but are very pathetic characters. And they're meant to be pathetic. And I'm not talking about, like, the Gorosei. I'm talking about just the regular Celestial Dragons. They're pathetic, they're weak, they're cowardly. They're a lot like Wapol, just honestly even weaker. And so when they come into the picture, it's like people hate on them, but acknowledge that they're well written. Why not the same for Wapol? It's pretty much the same thing, just even worse. It's just a worse form of Wapol. But otherwise, like, the idea is pretty much the same. So I don't get it. I've never understood why people think Wapol is poorly written and poorly designed and conceptualized. I've never agreed with that. He's pathetic, but he's meant to be pathetic. And don't get me wrong, he's not, like, a favorite villain of mine. I'm not, like, standing up for him that much, but I think it just feels weird to, like, hate on him like this, like people do, in the way that they do, and for the reasons that they do. But that being said, I think we should get into this because I'm very excited to see, like, all the differences in how this ends, all the similarities in how this ends compared to in the original manga and anime. And there's a specific moment or two I'm definitely hoping to see here. One of which I think will happen, and one of which I'm unclear if will. It could not. It's kind of up in the air. But one of those moments I think will happen. Because I feel like it would just it's too important of a moment to leave out. And there's actually another moment, but that's, like, literally guaranteed to happen. You can't have this arc without it, so I'm just excited to see the closure to this. It sucks that we're at the end, and it sucks that I've honestly watched through it so quickly. I wish I paced it out a little better, but, you know, I got so much into it, and I am already, like, pre-recording things more, like, now that we've got the Patreon going, so it's just, I don't know, it just worked out this way. Usually I would try to pace these out more, but oh well. Either way, let's get into this and see what this last episode has in store for us. Hold up just a sec. Before you click that link down in the description below to get to today's video, I want to remind you of all the awesome content we have both on this channel and the Princess of Gaming channel. Let's check it out. Welcome to the Afterthoughts. We'll begin with spoilers in 3, 2, 1, now. So, we got a little ending scene with Sir Crocodile and Nico Robin having their bounty posters revealed and their identities revealed outside of being Mr. Zero and Miss All Sunday. And that was kind of like the big note the season ends on. Which, to a degree, makes sense based off of like the fact that the very first scene of this season was featuring Mr. Five, Miss Valentine, and Robin, Miss All Sunday. So it makes absolute sense to end with that as well. But with the big reveal of Mr. Zero and Miss All Sunday's identities. And we have a new member of the crew now. Tony Chopper, the reindeer doctor, has joined officially. And it's like, I'm very excited to see, like, just him acclimate with the crew. We got to see a little bit of that here outside of just, like, him working with them and everything during the fights and all. Like, we get to see Usopp comforting him. We get to see Zoro putting him on his shoulder, which is, you know, very fitting because Chopper is Zoro's little man. Anyone who has read the manga and watched the anime absolutely knows that. But yeah, Usopp and Chopper also get along super well. So I actually liked seeing that there as well. We got to have like them having a little celebration for their new crew member. Even Luffy doing the thing with like the chopstick things from his nose to his mouth. It's like it's a little more like exaggerated in terms of the expressions and whatnot in the manga and anime, of course, but it's like that is actually a thing that is done multiple times in One Piece. Luffy and other characters do it at various points. So I actually like that they included that. Kureha's goodbye. I don't know if like the version that I've always seen with the subtitles has always been like not necessarily a mistranslation, but a different wording that people have chosen to use. But it's like I've always heard it as like goodbye, my stupid son. And it's always been like this very big like moment of Kureha acknowledging Chopper as her son, as her child, in the same way that, you know, Hiraluk would be his father, Kureha is his mother. And having them change like the way that's worded here, I don't know if that was more accurate to like the like actual translation or if that's like more accurate to maybe the dub. Because I've seen the dub of One Piece, but it's like it's been a while and I don't know the exact wording used. But I don't know. It's like it still captures the same feeling. It still captures the same general vibe. It's just it doesn't hit quite the same. It doesn't hit quite the same. But what did hit quite the same is Kureha mentioning to Dalton the will of D. That was a great moment to see. The Will of D being mentioned and brought up, Gold D Roger, not Gold Roger. That's like a very, very big moment and shapes the entire rest of the series. It's super relevant. And then we have the fight against Wapple. It was, and his, goons. Things were obviously done a lot different here. In the manga and anime, the fight against Wapple happens like all over the castle. Like he chases them and they chase him throughout. There's also a lot more different set pieces because of that, and a lot more different like confrontations. There's one part where Nami's just kind of wandering around and he like sees her. They have like a little moment where she lies to him and he's like, "Oh, okay." But then he like climbs up and chases her down, saying, "You really think I'd fall for that?" And it's a really funny moment. There's also a moment with like a snowbird nest being on a door frame that was completely omitted. Um, Wapple, I mentioned in the reaction, normally eats himself and becomes Slim Wapple, which I guess would have been a bit much for the live action. So I guess that one makes sense. But I'm actually surprised considering we saw that like he had eaten the army and turned them into like monsters as well. I'm surprised we didn't see him do the same to Chess and Kuromarimo, his two like his right and left hand. Because in the manga and anime, that's what happens. He turns them into a single being through the Munch Munch factory. And that just didn't happen this time. Like, they do fight against, like, Chopper and Sanji and everything, and, like, there's a lot of specific moments we get to see in both that fight and the fight against Wapple, like Sanji launching Luffy, though that's usually at an entirely different point in the fight, but it doesn't entirely matter. Um, and of course, Wapple, like, making his mouth grow huge and Luffy using his hand to, like, cover it and all. I mentioned in the reaction, Vivi is not normally fighting in this, so that was a complete change, her helping out with that. I liked that, though. I like that Vivi is taking a more direct approach to things in the live action. Because the thing is, like, she was undercover as a Baroque Works agent. She absolutely has fighting ability, but after she's revealed in the manga and anime as Vivi, she really doesn't fight much at any point after that. She just kind of becomes the princess. And she has some great moments, don't get me wrong, but she isn't really a combatant anymore, and it always was weird to me. So I like that we still get to see her acting as a combatant, even if she's, nowhere near the level of others. She still gets to help, and I love that. Seeing Usopp and Zoro fighting against the monsters and trying to protect the villagers was great. It was a great addition because, again, the monster soldiers were never part of the manga and anime. That was a completely new addition. But we did get to see Dalton's devil fruit. I believe it's the cow fruit model ox or model bison or something like that. Um, I think it's model bison. And it's in the I think we actually see it. Do we see it before Chopper? I don't remember. In the manga and anime, I don't remember if we see him transform before or after we see Chopper. But both of the devil fruits are a specific type of devil fruit called the Zoan fruit. There are three types of devil fruits: the Zoan, Paramecia, and Logia, and then there's like off branches of each. And so Chopper and Dalton are the first two we see who have Zoan devil fruits, which turn you into some form of animal, or in Chopper's case, with the Hito Hito no Mi, a human. Because that's what his fruit is, the human fruit, which normally wouldn't really have an effect on a human eating it, but a reindeer eating it gives him human-like qualities for different forms. That's another thing about Zoan fruits. They usually give a few different forms. We see those with Chopper here. We see his small little chibi form. We see his pretty standard reindeer form. And then we see his, like, giant buff man form. And all of his forms have names as well. The big one is Heavy Point. Um, I can't remember what all of them are called. Because it's like I remember some of the like different ones he gets throughout the series, but it's like these main three, it's like I can only remember what the first or what the big one is called. Chopper's Points. Okay, so trying to find it here. I'm on the One Piece wiki. Here we go. So yeah, he has his hybrid form, which is the normal form we see him in. Then we have I'm not seeing the names of the first three for some reason. It's like it gives the names of like future forms and stuff, but okay, so his normal reindeer form is called Walk Point. I think I said last episode it was like Running Point or Walking Point or something like that. It is Walk Point. His human form, quote unquote, is Heavy Point. That's the big, manly, beastly one. And Brain Point, which I talked about, is actually just the name of his chibi form. He does have like an ability that he can use in it, but we didn't see that, which we normally do see at this arc. So, but he has a lot of other points as well that come in later, and I'm wondering if we're going to see any of them next season. Considering we got the Rumble Ball tease, I assume we're going to have to. But yeah, I thought this was like a good end to the season. I really felt like it wrapped everything up, and it leaves Alabasta to be like fully captured in season 3. Because like there's not really I feel a reasonable way to make Alabasta last shorter than all 8 episodes of the season. I don't think it would be reasonable to have Alabasta be even like 4 or 5 episodes. There's just so much that happens during the arc. So there was no way they were going to squeeze it into this season. It just made sense to have this season be everything from Logetown to Drum Island leading up and building up to Alabasta, but having that actually be next season. So I'm excited for when we finally do get to that. I think it's going to be fantastic. And this entire season, like even outside of like just these past 3 episodes in Drum, were fantastic. Like everything about it. Logetown was great. I loved the Twin Capes with Laboon. You have Whiskey Peak, Little Garden. Everything was great. Everything like just was a massive step up from season 1, which is saying a lot because season 1 was already fantastic. And like all the portrayals of the characters introduced, the members of Baroque Works, Chopper, Hiraluk, Kureha, everyone was great. And yeah, I know we all wanted Jamie Lee Curtis as Kureha. She wanted to do it. The Matt Owens and the other directors and all wanted her. But there was a scheduling conflict. She couldn't. And she gave all of her praise to her name is escaping me right now. Leela from Futurama. I can't think of her name right now. I don't know why my brain is like not working properly, but Katie Seagal, that's it. She gave all of her praise to Katie Seagal, like absolutely like completely put her faith behind her. And yeah, she did a great job. She definitely wasn't as crazy as she was in the manga and anime, but again, you have to dial some things back for the live action. You just have to. And that's fine. And I think it still worked. I think she was still great. She definitely had the cackle down. um, but yeah, there were so many great moments. We got more original songs. We only had the one for Nami last season, but we got two of them. Or three, maybe. I know there's the giant one that we got, the Elbaf song, and we got one for Chopper. I think there might have been like some other songs that were just like kind of instrumentals, but still, I can't wait to see what comes next time. I'm hoping we do get the Supersonic Ducks, since they were mentioned so many times in this season, and because Karoo specifically was mentioned, we better get Karoo. But there's so many other characters that are going to be debuting next season. We've already got casting announcements for the likes of Mr. 1 and Miss Doublefinger, Mr. 2. We've got Vivi's father who's going to be returning and everything. We got Ace who's coming in. It's like there's going to be so much to look forward to. And again, it's probably coming next year. That seems to be the plan because these two seasons are being like worked on back to back. I don't know how long after that it's going to be to season 4, but hopefully they really pick up the pace on things as best as they can. Obviously, it takes time and everything, but as best as they're able. And hopefully it won't take another 3 years after that to get it to season 4 at that point. And apparently the producers have said they're still aiming for 12 seasons. Like, that's still their goal, which is insane to think about. But I've even heard some people say, well, like, just let the characters age then. I know that doesn't really happen in the manga and anime, but just let the characters actually age in this telling of the story. It's a different take. It's a different version of One Piece, so it's like the characters can age a little bit. That's not as big a deal with this. And most of the actors are pretty young, so it's like I think it would work. I think it'd be fine. So yeah. This season was fantastic. It was definitely better than the first. I loved every moment of it. As for what is going to replace this on the schedule, I don't know at the moment. As of recording this, I am recording this like way ahead of time. And so I'm not 100% sure what's going to end up replacing this yet. So just keep in mind that I will figure something out. And as of when you're watching this, whether you're watching this on Patreon or YouTube, you'll see next week. It'll be a surprise. How about that? It'll be a surprise what this is going to be replaced by. And you'll find out basically once it goes up. So thank you all so much for tuning in. Let me know your thoughts on this episode, as well as the entire season down below. And let me tell me what your favorite episode was. I think my favorite was episode 7. I think it was just so perfectly done. It's probably my favorite episode, but I'll have to really think about it some more and really like figure out an exact ranking for the episodes and everything. But let me know down below, what your favorite was. And thank you so much for tuning in. For now, I'm Connie and I'm signing off. See y'all next time.